Jagdev. Growing up in Mauritius, as you probably have heard about, Mauritius is a small island where most of the people live very close to each another. So growing up in Mauritius, we were very family oriented. And family means uncle, auntie, cousins. This was one of the most beautiful time. I was talking with my cousin not long ago, actually. We were reminding of the time.
His love for God is so intense and real, He would take things that you read about in books, experiences of the saints and the masters, and things you can only fantasize about, and he makes them real.
And we used to walk in the sugarcane field, and it was very easy, actually, because you see, growing on an island, especially when you have people around you, and this is what is lacking here, It's like each people grow by themselves, individual, isolating themselves. But whereas when we grew up, like the neighbors' children, we were always together. When I was small, actually, I had always pushed towards spirituality. I was always telling the people to pray. And we used to do fire ceremony, yagna. Being children itself, we used to make fire. And of course, we were chanting mantra, what we know, the simple mantras, And we were doing swaha, putting, I don't even think that we used to have ghee. I think we used to have oil. We just take the oil and put it inside. And we put rice. And this is how I grew up. And one of the neighbor, I remember once he saw us and he built a small hut, and we used to do yagna every day inside it with all the children around, And a fire was amazing. It will be from down to the roof. But nothing happened. You see, one thing is that, which is very important to understand, that freedom that we used to have, well, probably still the people have it there, but when I was small, we were free. We will spend our time climbing trees, fruit trees, lychee trees, and other fruit trees, because the place where I grew, there were lots of fruit trees. Well, the spiritual path, how I was saying, was the most important thing, because among the children which we used to gather around, I used to just remind them of God, and we will do play, like playing children play, about different deities, different gods.
Real. I've been fortunate enough to experience many things with him, but things that you can't put in context, that you can't logically explain. But through his presence and his grace, you're able to experience the divine in a way that you can only read about, you can only fantasize about. And that's what makes Swami really special.
When I was young, every day when I used to go to primary school, there was a Shiva temple which every day I would pass by to say hello to Shiva. And that was one of the nicest things, and coming home. And so like that, it carries on. And my parents, like I said in many interviews, my parents, they believe in God, but they were not very practitioners, So of course, they go on with their life, good people. And of course, they could not understand, why they have a son which is very much interested in spirituality and in God. So I remember once I was 12 years old, or maybe less, my mom said, "Oh, you will go crazy, if you carry on like that." And I remember I responded to her and I said, "Well, if I go crazy for God, this is the most important thing." And of course that shocked her. But like that, it was a inborn things, It's like, it's not that I was like looking for spirituality or anything. No, it was natural for me. So that, when going to school, and that was the most important thing. I was always talking about God. That's why the people around used to tease me and call me Gurudev. And actually, when I will pass by, they will all tease me, saying Gurudev is coming, and they would say Jai Gurudev. This is where I took the greeting of Jai Gurudev because of that. Because they were doing it unconsciously. They were not conscious what they were doing. But yet, I guess deep inside of them, why they were there while I was growing up, all the youngsters there, it is also a reason behind. Their insight was revealing to them. Even now, when you go and tell them, they will tell you how they used to tease me. And then, then at the age of 15 and a half, something happened. Then you can call it enlightenment or whatever. It just happened overnight. And I forgot everything. But there were other knowledge inside of me, other things that I have never lived. It was there, that remembrance of maybe previous lives and so on. So from that, there were other, like when spirituality manifests itself in many ways, and it is revealing in many aspects. So like that, there was some in the house itself. Before this happened, I started to notice something. And I was telling to my mom. My mom said, "No, you are dreaming about it. You are just making up." And of course, a few days later, these things manifest more and more. These qualities, and of course, then. My mom was scared because these things never happened. We never taught. We never, even being in the Hindu tradition, we were never taught all these things. So my parents don't know anything about what's happening. We were not on the spiritual path, a spiritual way. Like you read books and people know about all these things. Like what is happening. So now seeing their son, like things are happening. And of course they were in panic. So they spoke with one old lady, the neighbor, said, "Well," and they called other priests and all the stuff. They came, but they could not understand anything what was happening. There was one auntie of mine. She was a little bit on spiritual path, so she could understand a little bit. And so like that, things start coming. Then people invite me. First country I went to was in Kenya. There's one guy which were getting blind, and the parents invited me there. I went there for a few days, and by God's help, he was fine. Like that, then I went to India. Then when I was 18, I came first time to Europe. I was in England and also Switzerland at that time. And from there on, I came to Europe. This was an invitation to come to Europe. And of course, when I was in Europe, I met many people, and people connect. So you find back the people which you met, No, actually, I was not playing with toys. This is the thing, like what I don't remember much, but my mom said, like other kids they will be happy with toys. Me, I will steal the incense and camphor from my uncle and auntie in their room. They used to keep incense and camphor. That will be my toy. I will steal them from my grandma. I remember that. And I will use them to do puja. That was my game. And there were nothing interests me. Even now, you see, I'm not interested in anything which is material. I'm not interested in many things like people are interested, So prayer is one of the main things which were there, to connect with God in whatever way, Because at that time, like I say to you, there were not that great knowledge that, yes, I have to build a relationship, I have to pray to God, I have to chant this mantra and that mantra. No, it was just in a very simple way. It was just offering flowers, I remember in my grandma's place, in my mom's mother's place, behind the house, there was like a big, big stone. But for me, when I will be looking at these stones, I will be saying, that is Shiva Linga. For me, it was that. I would collect all the flowers from their garden, leaves, and I would sit there, put water, and just chant Om Namah Shivaya. This was the easiest. And I will offer the camphor, the incense, the same, like whatever fruits I will have, fine, I will just offer it on the stone. I will pray them to like Shiva Linga. Krishna said, the Lord, is everywhere. But you have to have the eyes to see it. So I remember my auntie, when I went last year, she was reminding me of that instance. And we were laughing about it because it was a child play. For me, it was just natural, normal. I was praying to Shiva as a huge stone. And so like that, everywhere where will I go, where I will be, there will be always something which is connected to God. I will not, toys was not important. If you will give me incense, you will give me camphor, you will give me something spiritual, that have more value for me. I remember when I was small, once we went to there's a Christian saints in Mauritius, and everybody goes to his tomb. He was a French missionary, and his name is Père Laval. So, everybody on the 16th of September, they go to his tomb, they walk. So we went there also. I remember when I was in my dad's hand, I was very young actually, and he were holding me. We always bring flower and candle. So the people which is on the feast day, there's like thousands and thousands of people. They were trying to take the flower and the candle from me, and I was screaming. Didn't want to let go of the candle and the flower because this was my toys, So I still remember I was crying because I took the candle, and then the person was so nice and sweet. Said, "No, okay." They gave me another candle from there, another blessing. Of course, I was very happy. So you see, there were no, difference. It doesn't matter which part or which religion it was, because I grew up near a church, St. Anna Church, and I grew up next to temples. For me, that was the most important thing. My childhood was about that. I was in the church or in the temple. So that was this is how it is. Of course, maybe now it have changed. So with big people mind, try to separate everything. You lose this innocence and that essence of God in everything. And that was the childhood but there's more to talk about. As you are telling, to talk about the childhood, there's much more to say. Like we used to play with marbles. We used to, play with tin. Make music with tin, which nowadays you don't find. And now everything is toys and plastic and all the stuff. That was our toy. We used to make our own. We used to get old cycle wheel, and we used to put a tin, bend it inside, and just put a stick to it and roll it running. That was the toy. We were making our own toys. It's not the toy that you buy, plastic things, It was there was, but we were making our own toys. But like I said, for me personally, the toy which was the most important thing was spiritual things, which is connected to spirituality. That gave me much more happiness. So that was my mindset. I used to collect my money. I used to save all my tiffin money. Yeah, and for what? Just to go and buy little pictures of gods. Hindu gods, and even Jesus, Mary was there also. So that was one thing. I remember once I brought. We had a neighbor. They are from a Muslim family. When I was 14, I gave them a picture of the Kaaba, because this is their religion, I gave them that. Even now, after all these years, this picture is still there. When I went last year, when they came to see me, the grandma came to see me because I didn't have much time to go, and she was saying, "Oh, you didn't come to our house." And of course, because it is not far away, so I made a must to go. I visited the place, and that picture was still there. And she was saying that many people, when they come, she always tells that I gave them this picture when I was, 13 years old or something like that, even maybe younger. So for me, that was my interest, to remind people. Now when I see it, of course it was not a planned thing that I will go and remind people of this stuff. No, it was a natural thing, which is inborn inside and which awake inside to remind people of the love of God beyond everything,
What was special about him was his love for God at a very young age. From a very young age, I knew that he was special. Special why? Because, again, as a child, it's not normal to see a child being so dedicated to God.
Yeah. Like I said, I was collecting the money just to buy all this picture of the deities, devas and all this, I still have them at my dad's place. They're still there. Most of them I bought when I was very young. It was adventurous, It was, I can say, my childhood was wonderful, and really, when I look at like nowadays children, everybody's in front of their computer, in front of on their phone and everything, That is sad to see, but they don't have a life that they are living, and this is what the world is becoming. I came to Switzerland first, and I was in Switzerland for around 10 years, something like that.
When I met Swami, he was still young. And in this age, he was like a son for me. It was quite normal to be with him. We had pizza together, and there was something that I felt, yes, he is special.
And with people, I used to meet people, and of course I was traveling. Like I said, I started traveling. I was going to India. I was going to many places. In England, especially, and in England when I was there, I used to meet people throughout the night. And if you speak with my cousin, she will tell you this was one of the most nicest time. It was a wonderful time, but nowadays we can't do it like that. Not now, but there's too many people. I used to meet people when I come to England. I used to meet people throughout the night till 4 o'clock in the morning. People, the house of my auntie would be packed full with people.
There were talks like, there's this boy who stays in the vicinity who is different. who was like really different. There were lots of people coming in, people I'm telling from different strata of the society. They used to come to him for different kind of help. Of course, his house was always open, he was always welcoming everyone, and he always made sure that he spends quality time with the people that come to him for help.
And over the years, he allowed me to see step by step more, and he gave me the glimpse or the moments where I felt, oh my God, he is really a divine being.
It was very adventurous, in 2005 when we started, like I said, I was in Switzerland, then I came to Germany, then we said, no, it's time now. Dakshini is here, we said we have to start something, we have to find a place to we can build a little community and it was a nice time actually, because it was a time where we were more personal. Every day it was fun. I'm laughing. I remember when I first teach them bhajan. I first teach them bhajan and mantras, how to chant the mantra. Oh, it was chaos. Not now, like nowadays. Nowadays they're professional. Before I have to teach them even the Gayatri mantra. I have to teach them the most simple mantras, how to chant the mantra, it was a growing thing. See? But it was more family, it was every day, we had the Prabhupada and the Mataji's house, and we had the temple, we were doing our puja, and of course, this is a time where they start to grow. There were like, how many? You have 100 people? It seems a lot of people already. People were staying, in the house. They were all together. All this, it was very nice actually. Now, of course, I was still traveling around giving darshan everywhere. It's not that I was just sitting there and people would come. No, I was traveling around, and of course, then people start growing. Then we decided to have a bigger place. Then we start searching around. Everybody was searching. We were visiting many places, but there's no touch to it. There was no feeling about it. But when we came here, we came to visit at Kemel, some houses which were there. Probably when you enter Kemel, you see there's some big building. So we came to see that, but it appeared very big at that time. I said, no, that is too big. And then the mayor said, there is another place I would like to show you. So we came here. I remember first time we came here, we went around only. We could not go inside. And the feeling was it was like a jungle here. Don't think that it was like what you see right now. No, trees, bananas, and everything was messy jungle, and it was completely different. Second time when we came, it was around New Year time. I think we had Christmas there. Then we came here. And of course, they had the somebody to show us around because we were interested. So we came. When we came here, we went inside. Of course, it was dark and broken, and okay. But then we went to the balcony. When I stood at the balcony there, and I look at the valley, there was a feeling that I have seen that place somewhere. This is a place I was looking. I have traveled everywhere, even to America, everything. But I never had the feeling of that. Because now I will tell you the feeling of it. That feeling is when I was small, I used to have a dream. It has a occurrence dream. So it's not only one time it happened. It's a dream which came so many times. This dream was that I was in a forest walking, and the sun was shining, and the sun was setting, and I was running, and there was a feeling of happy. And it's strange to tell you that feeling, there was a feeling of being free. And when I came here, stood on the balcony, that feeling awake, and that remembrance of that dream, which used to come. I used to have this dream when I was small. I used to tell it to my mom. There's this place, I was running and all those things. And that dream, that feeling awake again. I was standing on the balcony there. And I turned to Swami Madhava. At that time he was Nandi. That's a place. And that was the place that Divine Mother have chosen, And she have shown me this place, this forest and this valley especially. Even now when I go time to time, I go to the flower garden, and I sat there and just see that valley, bring back this feeling and bring back this memory of that dream again, And sometimes I sit there and laugh. So when we came here, then they had to find out how much it will cost and all these things. And you see, such a big place like that, they didn't expect it to be very cheap, all these things. But everything was done, without me saying anything. These people, who at that time, took that upon them to make these things happen. They did it very secretly, quietly, without even me knowing. And one day, we were just passing by. I said, okay, let's go. And they told me, let's go and see that place again, let's go around. So we found a place. And I was looking at that place. I said, but this is the same place. All the devotees were standing outside. And they said, that is yours. And this is nice. The temple was swimming pool, and when I came, I said, I noticed. When I came second time, when we managed to go inside, when I came to that swimming pool, I said that swimming pool will be a temple. Yeah, that was. I said it will be a temple, and that's what it became, a temple. It took many years, but it became a temple. Of course, then after that, we said, okay, we have this place and we have to start working on it. We didn't have much money, but the devotees all contribute in making this place what it is, Because without the devotees, the Sangha will not exist, the community will not exist. And I have to be very grateful for everybody who have really put whatever they have contribute into this building this place, And to see how from what it was from scratch, from what it became now, it's amazing. And how amazing it's not about the building or anything, it's not about that. The amazing thing is that dedication which the devotees put into the residents, that is the most amazing, because who will leave the place to be here? In Germany, firstly, there's nothing beautiful, and sorry about that valley. Here is beautiful, but there is not like saying you're going to Italy, which is such a beautiful place. You're going to France, there's things to see around, and you're going to. I'm going to Germany. Very often people ask me, why Germany? But this is a place where Divine Mother have chosen, through many facts and many things, You see very well in Europe itself who have the voice. It's Germany. Through their karmic things also, So Divine Mother chose for me to be here. And So we built this place. I remember once we start building little by little, but then the government said, no, we have to push forward very quickly and we have to do lots of work. And that was a stress time, I tell you. We didn't have the money firstly. And but this is where the Lord sent the people to help, you know. We had people doing seva here. We had people, even they helped financially, you know. And it was a devotee who did it. You know, and this is a love of the devotee. So, yeah, this is how it is now. First, it was sadhana. You see, like I was telling earlier, as we grow, you know, we have to inspire people to do their spiritual practice and to inspire people to do something with the life, because life is not just to sit there and say, yes, I'm spiritual, or I'm doing a little bit of superficial spirituality practice. No, it have to be deepening. You have to go more into the depth of things, you know, because superficially life goes on, you know, but what have you achieved? What is your aim really? So that's why sadhana become the forearm. You see, yoga in the West is very misunderstood, because when you talk about yoga, people think about exercise, gymnastic, you know. So the gymnastic way, you can bend your body and put your feet on your head and whatever else, you know, which is very good actually, you know. It keep your body flexible, it keep your body healthy, you know. But yoga is much more than that. The word in itself, yoga, means to unite. That is yoga. Firstly, what to unite? What is dear to you, firstly, is your body, your mind, and your, firstly, intellect. Forget about the soul. So, body, mind, and intellect have to be looked firstly. So, for body, for asanas, you know, here again I'm saying asana, I'm not using exercises, but asana, because asana gives you a deeper understanding of what you're doing when just doing an exercise, you know. So when you're doing the asana, you're keeping your body fit. It's not only about keeping the body fit, it's also about keeping the mind fit. So this is where japam, you know, and other spiritual practice come, you know, where you keep your mind focused, you keep your mind on the positive way, you know, try to think positive and try to transform that mind. Then you have your intellect, which is be in communication with something which is deeper, which is being communication with the right thoughts. Yeah. It's not just a thinking, it's the thoughts which awake inside of you. So your intellect can reason it and really put it into the outside in a positive way. So these things have to be firstly united. Now, people want to do a big jump, you know, but without taking in consideration that first you must clean in front of your house. Then you can clean outside, then you can clean everywhere. So start by cleaning this house firstly. So this is the first step of yoga in itself, you know, for that union to happen, for that communication to happen, for that relationship to happen. So then you use the word meditation, yoga and meditation. So how would you do that? The mind is always all around, The mind is always jumping like a monkey. So how to calm the mind? It is through meditation. So when you're sitting in meditation, of course the mind first will roam around. So you are learning how to still the mind. Because if a mind is very active, it will not lead you anywhere. Even if you're doing spiritual practice, even if you're doing, yoga, whatever, because you see nowadays, this is very important to understand. But nowadays people say, yes, they sit down, sit a little bit and said, yes, I've been practicing yoga. No, this is not, When you go to America especially, you will see everybody is practicing yoga because it's the fancy things. But that is not yoga. Because there is the union between you and your Creator, you and the Supreme Lord Himself. And this is what yoga does. Firstly, through meditation, you learn to calm the mind. You learn to control the mind. And you learn to be more into your feeling, not into the thinking. So this is the first branch of what we want to give, Knowledge is important. Actually, I will say very important. Here, we are not trying to make everybody, when I'm talking about knowledge, we are not trying to make everybody become philosophers or empty vessel who just make a lot of noise. Because most of the time people think that, if we have knowledge, we will become like a empty vessel which doesn't make a lot of noise. We can talk about and discuss about all these things. No, that's not knowledge. That's stupidity. So that I was saying in the last satsang, I was saying, people talk about, very often you have great philosophers and knowledgeable people, they all have big lectures and talk. But when you look at their face, they look like a dry bread, or a dry potato. So if that is this kind of knowledge, make you like that, doesn't radiate or shine the love of God, throw that kind of knowledge away. So you see, this is to differentiate between the material knowledge, which the materialistic world is bringing people to live, which is full of fear, full of ungroundedness into it. When you look around, people are very knowledgeable, but when you look at how they live their life, you look at their face, there's no happiness, there's no joy, there's nothing. So when I'm talking about knowledge on the spiritual path, is the knowledge of the self. And that knowledge of the self is called Bhagavad Gita. Which Bhagavan Krishna have given to Arjuna. In the most simple way, he have explained the beauty of life itself. And this is the knowledge I'm talking about. Of being who you truly are. So knowledge is about this 4 questions of life, which is answered in it. Where you come from, why are you here, who are you, and what is your aim, what is your goal. So this is a 4 question, fundamental question of life itself, which very often, if you ask that to people, they will never be able to answer. Okay, yes, you will ask somebody, where are you from? They will tell you the place where they are, really. They will tell you, I come from this and this and that. That, who are you? They will tell you all the background of their education, what they have done, all their CV, And you say, then they will ask you, who are you? Then they will tell you, I'm a so-and-so, son and so-and-so, But this is not who you are. This is not your true identity. So what is your aim? What is your goal? My aim is to have a big house, big cars, and have a lot of money. But then what? What happened afterwards? More than that, what it is? If this is life, then it is a useless life. So majority of the people live a useless life because they don't even know who they are. I'm not talking about the name which your parents have given you. I'm talking to know truly, in essence, yourself. Who are you really? Where you come from, because life is not just a random happening or two person having sex together and then a child is born just like that. No, it doesn't. Life is more than that. So get to know where you come from. You don't just come from that relationship. You come from somewhere else. And why are you here? You have a dharma. Why you are born here in this world. Not just to sit and eat and drink and die. Animals do that also. So you have to get to know what is your dharma here. What can I contribute to this world? What can I give after I leave from here? What will stay as inspiration later on? And what is my aim? This is the most important. Because everybody do something with an aim, no? Whether you're working, whether you're in the material life, there's always an aim behind. But that material life have an aim which finish, limited. Everything which is created, everything which is material, have a limited aim. But what is beyond that? You have billions, yes, and then what? That will make you happy? It will never make you happy. I'm looking right now a Netflix series about The Crown. Probably you have heard about it. It is very interesting, to see that these people, when we talk about, very often you tell children, oh, you be like my princess, be in their mind, people fashion, oh, I should have become like a princess, I have to become like a prince and all this stuff, They think that their life are joyful, happy life. No, I was looking at the series and think that, my goodness, these people have the most miserable life. They may be super rich, They can't trust anybody around you. People being, come smiling, flattering you continuously, telling you what you want to hear. I have met many people who are super rich also, you see. And these people have not appreciated because they always want to be, to be flattered, to hear beautiful things, what they want to hear. But that is all superficial. I was looking at the crown itself, you see how unhappy these people are. Even the queen herself, who have everything. But the being itself showed how unhappy. Her father was super unhappy. You can say, yes, I am happy with my family, but it's not real happiness. So the aim to attain is to attain that real happiness, not a superficial happiness. A superficial joy, which you just put a face to please people. No. That's what I see in my devotee, to tell you frankly. When they smile, when I give online darshan, when they smile, it is a sincere smile on their face, And I look at people around, let's say compared to people on the outside, or people just go on with their life routine, There's no happiness. That's why people have to do parties. That's why people have to go to pubs and do other things to remind, okay, yes, let me go there to forget about my problem. But am I really happy? No, I can sit there and laugh and or talk and drink something with the people, yes, but that will not make you happy. The moment you step out, you again being miserable. That's why it is very important to have an aim. And that aim of life itself is to attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, There's no other aim. And this is for meditation and sadhana and that what we call yoga, to unite again back with Him. through rituals. You see, very often people think that rituals are very downgraded, because people say, okay, these people are just doing these rituals without knowing. No, it's not true. Rituals have great importance. You see, look at our temples in India, for example. For thousands of years, the rituals have been carried on. Why? There's so many things that people have been doing, but it starts and then it finishes. But whereas the rituals for thousands of years, even through so many invasions have happened, but yet these rituals have not stopped. Why? If we go in deepness of it, we understand really what this ritual are doing. Even if it is, because you see, we have a physical body, and of course, our mind run into the outside, physically, and of course, it's much easier to do something physically than non-physical. So, in ritual, that transformation is happening, that purification is happening. When you're doing an abhishekam, for example, you're offering the element. The element is the element of the body itself. You're asking the Lord to purify these elements inside of your body. Yes, you're purifying actually your body itself. You're offering yourself to Him. So you're offering yourself to the Supreme. You're offering yourself to your goal itself. So you're asking the Lord, please purify me, cleanse me, and let me build a relationship with you. Because I have a physical body, I can build a physical relationship with you. This is where ritual is important. You're building a physical relationship with the Lord Himself. Of course, the Lord is not this metal. The Lord is not this stone, but it is the essence which prevails within. That is the bhakti which you have inside of you, which is awakening through this ritual. And then you do the fire ceremony, Of course, we explained that we are offering all the negativity into the fire, we are purifying. But it's not only purifying yourself, you're purifying the whole atmosphere. So you are doing service to nature, you're doing service to humanity also. Wherever these mantras, the smoke is bringing the mantra, they are all purified. So in short, this is ritual. Devotional arts is a form of meditation itself, because why we emphasize on art? Because when you're painting, or when you do any art means not only painting, it's also music, it's also different branches of things, You have art in many ways, So when you're doing art, it's not just, let's say, nowadays you see all the artists, just throw some paint here, just call it something. No, actually art is an awareness where you dive in the ocean of your consciousness itself, and you bring what is deep inside of you out. And this is spiritual art. Now, you have remind me of all this, from where it was and to where it is now. You can see a very huge change, But of course, changes must go on. Changes can't stop. What Krishna said in the Gita, he said, this is one thing that keep moving, changes. Everything keep changing. Every second you keep changing. And Bhakti Marga have changed very much from what it used to be. You have grown. We are in 65 countries, through Om chanting, through sadhanas, through the spiritual practices, And it have touched many people. When I give darshan online, on Thursdays, you see people from everywhere around the world. And for me, personally, I like my interaction with the people. And of course, during darshan, when it used to be like I used to give darshan one-to-one. It was a different ways, but even now, through Zoom, you can still do darshan and touch much more people around the world, people who could not come. They have the opportunity to see me, to hear me, to talk to me, and it is beautiful, And so changes is growing and changes will be, Now you see many ashrams are happening, many temples have been opened everywhere, where people are serving the Lord, and they are doing the sadhana.
I understand now that He is the highest what I can know on this planet.
What can I say? Life, what is happening, these things are reminding people of life itself. You see, when people have fear about something, they learn to turn to something greater. If they are wise, of course. If they are not wise, then they will be in their fear. So you have your choice. Either you turn towards something which is bigger and really remind yourself at how easy life can depart from you, and how ungrateful most of the time one have been, about life. We take everything for granted. We take life for granted, but we don't give that value to life. And this is a reminder throughout what is happening, not only now, there's many things, but remind people, but one have to be grateful about life itself. And one have to enjoy what God have given them. That precious gift is life, nothing else. Everything else you will live here. You have been, like Krishna said, you have been born into this world with nothing. Everything that you took from this world will stay here. When you leave, you will leave empty-handed. The only thing that you will carry with you is your spiritual, what you have, the people you have helped, the transformation you have bring to somebody else in their life, the joy that you have given to somebody, that's what you will bring with you. Nothing else. All these things, it will stay here. You can dress yourself like a Christmas tree, but it will stay here. Dress yourself like a Christmas tree with all the good qualities, Like Jesus said, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you dressed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water. And this is life. When you can do in a very simple way, you don't need to have big organization to help people. You don't need to have a big organization to love people. You can do that in the most simple way. Yesterday I was reading the life of, because most of the big organizations are corrupt anyway, so whether you are very holy from whatever churches you can belong to or whatever places you can belong to, they're all corrupt. Well, yesterday I was reading the life of Maria Sobolta, so she's also called Mary of Paris. Mother Mary, Saint Mary of Paris. It's so beautiful. How they ask her to join the church, they say, no, I don't want to join a church like that. My church is on the street, helping the people, loving the people. Why should I cage myself where I can't love people? And that's why I remind people to love, nothing else. Because you don't need to. Love is free. When you can be who you are, you will attain to that freedom. So, Jai Gurudev.